This year's NBA offseason is destined to unleash the most intense trade storm in recent memory. The Oklahoma City Thunder and Indiana Pacers, two teams that didn't pay luxury tax this season, reaching the finals will inevitably force team management across the league to re-examine their team-building strategies. Does spending big money truly equate to winning a championship? Doncic's major trade and its implications for Supermax eligibility also served as a reminder to all teams on how to handle stars eligible for the 35% Supermax contract. Once traded, most of them can only receive a 25% regular max. Teams that have invested heavily in recent years, like the Boston Celtics, Minnesota Timberwolves, Cleveland Cavaliers, Phoenix Suns, and Milwaukee Bucks, have all entered a critical period with their salary caps, reaching a stage where they might need to dismantle and replan their rosters. But the entire storm will likely be triggered by two key players, Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Although both are over 30, they maintain an extremely high level of play. Kevin Durant, soon to be 37, still averaged 26.6 points, 6.0 rebounds, and 4.2 assists this season, with a true shooting percentage of 64.2%, consistent with his 3 years with the Warriors. The recently turned 30-year-old Giannis is even more astounding, averaging 30.4 points, 11.9 rebounds, 6.5 assists, and 1.2 blocks this season, making the All-NBA first team for the 7th consecutive year. What few have noticed is that in this year's series against the Pacers, he still put up 33.0 points, 15.4 rebounds, and 6.8 assists. Despite his team's mediocre record in recent years due to injuries and team construction issues, he can still consistently deliver superstar performances of 30-10-5 in playoff-level games. He remains a superstar-caliber franchise cornerstone in this league. However, both players face similar problems due to the current championship-chasing pitfalls in the league. Their team's salary structures have become rigid and difficult to salvage after years of building. Giannis won a championship in 2021, but to maintain competitiveness, the team kept core players like Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez year after year, even as they aged and declined, fearing that letting them go would make Giannis feel the team lacked ambition. The 2023 offseason move to give up Jrue Holiday for Damian Lillard was comparable to the Lakers' acquisition of Russell Westbrook. Not only did it yield no results for 2 years, but worse, the 34-year-old Lillard tore his Achilles in this year's playoffs, and his contract has 2 years and $112 million remaining. Next season, the salaries of Giannis, Lillard, and Kuzma alone will reach $130 million, making it impossible for the team to reclaim the top spot in the East. Durant's situation is even more well-known. The Phoenix Suns, after their massive spending spree, have become completely stagnant. Last season, despite having the league's highest payroll, they failed to even make the playoffs, proving that relying on stacking 3 super scorers to contend is an overly primitive and crude model. Initially, the Suns only needed to deal with Bradley Beal's situation. However, suddenly putting Durant on the trade market before the trade deadline, nearly sending him to the Warriors, completely shattered any thoughts Durant had of finishing his career with the Suns. "I'm busting my ass to carry this team, and you're secretly trying to trade me. Fine, good riddance." These two players represent the top tier of 2 types of players currently on the trade market. Giannis is a franchise cornerstone around whom a championship contending team can be quickly built. Durant is a versatile, high-level piece that can help a team break through the final barrier if they already have a solid foundation. It seems their potential destinations overlap but also differ. Suitable for Giannis, Warriors, Celtics, Raptors. Suitable for Durant, Grizzlies, Heat. Beneficial for both, Thunder, Spurs, Rockets, Knicks. The Warriors and Celtics are both past their previous team-building cycles and urgently need new franchise cores. For the Warriors, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler will have a combined age of 110 next year. Relying on this core to win another championship is wishful thinking. They need to add new superstars to help reduce Curry's regular season burden, possibly even giving up Butler, whom they just acquired this season. For the Celtics, with Jason Tatum out for a year and a half, they have a perfect reason to rebuild. No player on the current roster is safe, not even Jaylen Brown. If the Celtics are willing to trade Jaylen Brown this offseason for Giannis, it would undoubtedly be a win-win. The Celtics get a more stable core, the Bucks get a high-quality replacement, and Giannis gets to move to a big city. The Raptors are a new candidate. After their former player Pascal Siakam won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, they are no longer willing to continue rebuilding and wait for an opportunity. They have already gathered talented players like Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickley, and they hold their own first-round picks. While not as formidable as their 2019 championship team, they might still attract Giannis. More importantly, Raptors GM Masai Ujiri once helped Giannis's family resolve their residency issues in Greece, making him a great benefactor to their family. The Rockets' interest in Durant has been rumored for a long time. Their 3-4 loss to the Warriors in this year's playoffs highlighted their struggles with late-game execution. This Rockets team is very similar to the 2016 Warriors. Their foundation is solid. Although their core isn't as dominant as the 73-win Warriors, they have the advantage of more trade assets, allowing them to make a deal without dismantling their core. Plus, they hold future Suns draft picks. If the Rockets want Durant, they are arguably in the pole position to get him. They could even make an offer for Giannis if they wished. Their current young stars like Alperen Sengun and Amen Thompson are widely regarded as promising. For a team like the Bucks, destined for a rebuild, the allure of quickly acquiring a franchise cornerstone is immense. Meanwhile, teams with a good foundation looking to improve further might also be interested in Durant. The Miami Heat, having traded away Jimmy Butler, have seen a significant decline in their strength. Players like Andrew Wiggins and Carl Anderson Likaya are not in their future plans. Pat Riley has always had a special interest in superstars. Perhaps in his eyes, a 37-year-old Durant is still worth pursuing. Teams like the Thunder and Spurs not only have stable cores in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Victor Wembanyama, respectively, but also possess ample trade assets. From a trade perspective, both the Bucks and Suns would be willing to deal with them. The biggest hurdle is whether Giannis and Durant would be willing to be the second option there. After all, Draymond Green's line, "We were champions before you came here," still stings. The recently eliminated New York Knicks might also pursue these two. Reports have emerged of dissatisfaction from coaches and players with Karl Anthony Towns' playoff defensive performance. We'll have to wait and see if they leverage New York's influence to further upgrade their roster. Only when the destinations of these two big brothers are determined can other NBA teams pursue their targets. After all, Durant and Giannis will be the top choice for many teams. Teams like the Lakers, Clippers, and Mavericks, finding themselves out of the top-tier competition, might have to settle for the leftovers from these major trades, such as Wiggins or Kyle Anderson from the Heat, or Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson from the Spurs, potentially replicating the Celtics' acquisition of Drew Holiday. So, fans, be patient. The buttons to launch this year's NBA trade storm are effectively in the hands of Durant and Giannis. For the Warriors, Giannis isn't their only lifeline. Warriors star Stephen Curry recently gave an interview to CNBC Sports, where he discussed his retirement plans for the first time. Curry stated that after retiring, besides being more involved in his company's daily operations and playing various golf tournaments, he also wants to become an NBA team shareholder, emulating Michael Jordan. Curry said, "I hope to be part of a team's ownership group. That's something I'm very much looking forward to." Curry's current contract has 2 years and $120 million remaining, with 2027 considered a possible retirement point. So, Curry's time is running out. Instead of making big trades and going through another period of adjustment, it might be better to strengthen the current roster. According to Warriors beat reporter Anthony Slater today, the Miami Heat are very interested in Warriors forward Jonathan Kuminga. Slater also mentioned that Warriors head coach Steve Kerr is very keen on coaching Heat forward Andrew Wiggins again. Furthermore, current CBA rules do not prevent Wiggins from being traded to the Warriors in the offseason. All signs point to the Warriors potentially completing a sign-and trade this summer involving Kuminga being swapped for Wiggins. Maple Jordan Wiggins could return to the Warriors. Before this season's trade deadline, Wiggins was sent by the Warriors to the Heat in a multi-team deal in exchange for Jimmy Butler. Wiggins' performance with the Heat has been average, especially in the playoffs, where he only managed 11.5 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game. For the Heat, Kuminga is younger and has more potential than Wiggins. If developed properly, he, along with Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo, could form the team's core for a long time. For the Warriors, Wiggins is familiar with the team's system. His return would mean minimal concerns about chemistry and integration, and his arrival would enhance the Warriors' offensive and defensive depth, providing reliable support for Curry and Butler. What happens next is worth watching. Finally, not long ago, Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy Jr. stated at the team's season-ending press conference that the team would be active in the offseason to acquire a trustworthy big man. Brook Lopez, who will be a free agent this summer, was immediately considered one of the Warriors' targets. Today, Bucks beat reporter Jim Archowski, during a fan interaction, discussed this matter. He stated that the Rockets, Spurs, and Warriors are currently interested in Lopez. Archowski also believes Lopez will prioritize winning and his role on the team as important factors in his decision. Among the three teams, the Spurs can offer Lopez the most lucrative contract. However, in the highly competitive Western Conference, it's difficult for the Spurs to make significant waves. The Rockets are a competitive team, but their front court is crowded with Quentin and Jock Landale, and they also need to re-sign Steven Adams, meaning Lopez might not get enough playing time. In contrast, the Warriors can offer him a starting center position. Combined with the Warriors' decent competitiveness, this undoubtedly increases the likelihood of Lopez joining them.